Welcome back, everybody. Here we are back for part 2 of our Zero Overall Rebuild. So we are catching up. We're at the Super Bowl. Somehow the Bears made it against the Chiefs. I'm a little curious as to who all they got on their team, just because that's an interesting scenario for them to end up there. So we're going to check that out here real quick. Not too many players all that different. I'm not really seeing anybody that, I guess they brought in Kareem Hunt. That's probably really the only addition. They drafted this really, really good wide receiver as well. He's probably was the second highest overall guy in that draft. And they did have 2 first-round picks in that last draft. So that's good for them. That's kind of where we're at the moment. But yeah, they didn't really bring anybody big in. They also brought in this outside linebacker. But yeah, for what they did, it's a miracle they got here. I don't know what happened. They probably got a new coach with a new playbook or something like that. We're still rocking with some of these guys here that are the zero overalls going into our next season. We're probably going to end up cutting them when we get to that point. But for right now, we're going to hop into basically just into the signing. And I'm going to meet you guys back on YouTube in a minute here with kind of where we're at with that. But yeah, I don't think I want to change anybody with the coaching staff. For our instances, it doesn't really matter if we sign a new guy. They're still going to be getting those dev points. But yeah, I'm going to re-signing anybody. I don't think I'm going to really re-sign anybody. I'll let you guys know if I did. Actually been looking through and re-signing most of the guys that we wanted to re-sign coming into this. So I don't know exactly what happened, but we dropped from a 75 overall to being 69, 71, and 71. My guess is it's just we have some older players in there that we added in. I'm not really sure exactly what happened there, but we're going to go in here and sign some free agents. I'm wondering if somebody retired that we didn't know about. Tua is a 94. That is unexpected. Once again, I'm going to kind of try to sign guys that are a little bit younger overall if we can. We could try to sign Jalen Warren. Looks like he's probably the best younger guy in there. Elijah Moore really wants to join us. And he's $12.4 million a year. I think we're gonna take a leap at it. He could be our number 1 wide receiver here. I'm only gonna offer him 2 years because I don't know if he's gonna develop that much. And yeah, it's hard to know with somebody that you're signing that's not got that incredible dev trait going on. We have Kaiser White, and then we have Trevor Best was okay. I think we're gonna offer Aluakun for 1 year, just because he is a really good player, and even just for that 1 year, he can play pretty well, and we did fairly decent if you watched the previous episode. We could try to sign Nick Chubb, however, he's already down to a star dev and he's 29. I don't think that's really the route we're trying to go here. We don't need to sign a quarterback, but Jared Goff is also a free agent. So that's an interesting thing to look at. We might go back to that running back. I don't remember exactly who it was off the top of my head now. Rashad Bateman could be another addition. I know we do have that wide receiver that's our third at the moment. And we are probably going to sign Elijah Moore on the looks of it. Is there another tight end as a second? There's not really I don't know if I would really want to sign any of these guys to be like our second tight end, because there's not anybody that's like, oh, I have to get this guy. I know it was saying left guard was a need of ours. I think that's probably probably because we didn't really have a left guard last year. Chuma Adoga is 71 overall. He's 28th, I mean. And so I think we're going to try and sign him. I kind of want to offer Brandon Scherf, but I also am like, he's kind of old at this point. Yeah, like the guys that want to sign with us that are younger are the guys that we had before, I think. Yeah, not a ton of younger guys that are high overalls that are free agents at the moment at those positions. Let's look at left tackle. Maybe we could swing somebody over. Patrick Bakari. I think he's gonna be a guy we sign and then we switch him into being a guard, or we move David Edwards back to being a guard. That would be another option that we could take. Center position. We have Connor Williams. We don't really need to sign another center. For right tackles, Walker Little is here. I really liked him coming out of college when I was looking at everything. And he would be our starting tackle, so I'm going to offer him this deal. It's not a ton of money. We have a lot of cap space just because how our team is rearranged. So here we are going to look to see who all we sign, who actually makes... we are leading for all of these guys so far. So, we go through, did we sign all 5? We did sign all 5. That is great for us. We'll figure out which one we're going to slide over. It's probably going to be David Edwards going back into that left guard position. But let's look at some left ends, and because what do we have? We have DJ Jones, who actually is going to be better than anybody that we have there. Do we bring Michael Pearson now that he's only $12 million for that year? We could. Charles Omenihu, we are going to sign just in case we don't find somebody better. I'm really looking forward to our, as it says there, team has franchise quarterback Owen Sims. I'm really looking for his development here in this part. He's already like an 83, I think. Hopefully this is going to get us Omenihu, just because we kind of need him in this team. And he's only 28, I think is what it said. We have Justin Jones at D-tackle. He's fairly decent. Let's look. We could sign Jerry Tillery to be like the backup. He's not as much of a D-tackle in our scheme, but we can offer him this. We have a lot of money still chilling in the bank. Left outside linebacker. We are looking for an edge. Most of these guys don't really want to sign with us. We just signed Aluakun to be our second inside linebacker for us. Robert Spillane is not a scheme fit whatsoever. Clavon Chason, we could move to the other side. I think he went in the first, didn't he? Something crazy like that. Anthony Nelson is a weird guy to see at outside linebacker. We're going to offer this deal to Clavon Chason just because he's going to be better than almost anything else that we have at the edge right now. And then we're kind of okay at the cornerback position. I guess we could look to see if we can get somebody in here that's young and has a dev trait, but I don't think there's really anybody in this year. Yeah, we're not really finding anybody there. We kind of, Terrell Burgess kind of cemented himself on this team going into that last season. Reed Blankenship. That's not a name I see on here often. However, we did draft that strong safety last year. The only thing would be if we try to like move this guy into being a middle linebacker, which I think probably sounds a little ridiculous at the moment. we could. I don't think we really want to sign anybody that's like a kicker or a punter at the moment. So I think we're gonna. I'm gonna stop the recording here because I don't think there's gonna be anybody else that's like a really big signing that we're gonna sign here at this point. Alrighty, so as I promised, I was going to talk about basically if we had any other bigger free agent signings. The only really one I did offer, we did sign Michael Pierce, just because he really wanted to join the team, and I actually like gave him the team friendly deal, and he took it. So I think he even played in Minnesota at one point, so that's like a whole returning back type thing. I'm not positive he did or not. The crazy thing is we don't have the first overall pick. I really thought we were going to. Something is going really weird with my system right now, so I'm actually gonna close the app and I will be back in a minute. Hopefully everything is fixed when I return. Alrighty, we have returned back to the draft. Hopefully we'll actually be able to see who they take with this first pick. But first, let's pause this draft board to see kind of if there's anybody that we really do want to take. We are hoping that this Jerome Gordon probably. Let's see, does he have... Yeah, if this guy does not get taken with that first pick, he is almost certainly the guy that we are going to pick up. Because we need another edge, and especially a edge on that other side. Ooh, but this guy looks like he might be generational. So if this guy does get taken with that first pick, I'm not going to complain. But I do think that they probably do take this quarterback. And knowing that they're in the Bucs system, he's going to play really well, even if he's not that great of a quarterback. Just because anytime they draft a quarterback, he always basically wins the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And they draft that cornerback. He probably is a generational guy. I'm going to check that out at the end of this draft. Let's see if anybody really, really wants to trade up to us. And I'm looking for like something like if they gave us 2 first-round picks, I would take this. I don't think they're offering enough for me to be like, I need to do that deal. Who's got the fourth? The person who has the 4th pick doesn't want to give me anything. So we're not going to be taking that. We are going to be drafting that defensive end because we know for a fact that he is, if nothing else, he is a top 5 talent. At least in overall, he's probably not going to be as good as that cornerback, but that's going to be okay. He has 3, 4, 6, 5 second 40. Almost all of his things say great. He has elite change of direction, which is going to be good for when he is playing in back at linebacker. He does have D for an injury rating, which is something that I'm a little concerned about, but we're still going to draft him, and he is hidden development. He is going to play as our right outside linebacker. Hopefully he doesn't drop too much in overall when that happens, just because I know sometimes that does happen in those situations. We're just going to skim to this. I don't know why I said skim. We're going to sim to this next one. Hopefully, I don't know really all that we need. It's going to tell us that we need offensive linemen. I'm not really concerned about that at the moment. We signed Elijah Mitchell, so we don't really need to worry about that either. If there was a finesse, a really high finesse edge guy here, I would probably take him, but there isn't. I was gonna maybe look at that running back, but he just does not look that great. If this guy has good speed, we might go back to a wide receiver. I think probably what we need to look at more is corners. There's both of these strong safeties look good, but we have a strong safety. Here's another power rusher, defensive end. He skipped the combine. He only has good strength. If he had higher strength, I was probably going to take him and probably try to move him into being a 3-4 end that we have on our team. Do we draft another tight end or this running back right here? Once again, we're kind of having a hit or miss draft class right here. Probably one of these running backs is going to be available to us next round. I kind of want to get a backup running back in on this team here for us. Decent bench press reps. We did sign Pierce though, so I'm not entirely concerned about that at the moment. This corner looks pretty good. He has elite strength, elite acceleration. It does look like he's not supposed to go quite yet. I'm going to see if we can trade down later in this round. Just because I'm not going to take him this early. Bears are willing to give us their first in 2 years. That's really going to help us right now. Yeah, a lot of these teams are offering us their first in the future. I want to see if somebody's willing to give me their second 38 pick. That's not terrible. Yeah, I think we're gonna take the Eagles offering here. Trade down. We'll also pick up a 5th round pick. Hopefully we can get somebody with that 5th round pick, and this wasn't all for nothing. But yeah, we only moved back 4 or 5 spots, and I don't know why. That is the most Madden thing ever. I guess they're anticipating that Jalen Hurts is going to lead the team, but really that is not what I expected to happen there. But yeah, we are going to take that cornerback that we saw a little bit ago, just because he does look like he's probably a decent corner. It was this guy, I believe. Yeah, he looks pretty good. Looks like he has those physical intangibles. He's not a scheme fit right away, but it looks like he's not too far off of being there. He does have the show's good discipline and won't get flagged much. That's the only one that I think probably really matters in sim. And he is hidden development. That is what we were hoping for. He's probably going to come in and be our... He should come in and be our 3rd, but he's probably going to be our 4th. Just because he has that hidden development, and so he's probably going to be a little bit lower in overall. But I think that is well worth the trade down, even if that 5th round pick is nothing. If nothing else, he's on a cheaper contract. If we do end up cutting whoever that 5th round guy is. And then this guy, speed rusher, he is not fast enough to play outside linebacker. Yeah, this draft is a little disappointing, just like kind of overall. We don't really need a speed rusher. It's more just if there was like a really, really good one, we were going to try and pick one up. Here's a guy we could put in as like the backup for that guy we draft. No, we are not. He is way too slow. Yeah, it's always tough at this point. We could pick up this tight end. He seems pretty good. 3rd round pick. I know we have a decent tight end core right now, just because we have Noah Fant that we gave a pretty decent contract to, and then we do have a decent backup. But sometimes we run 3 tight end sets, and you never know what we're gonna end up being like. And this guy could be good. He looked like he was decent at least. This is probably gonna be the last pick that I actually show in the recording here. I am still going to do the rest of them, and then we'll do a little bit of a recap on how the draft went. And we are going to check out that cornerback, who I am about 90% certain has superstar X factor. Alrighty, We went through the draft. Like I said, I did trade away the 7th round pick because we did pick up that 5th round pick, that extra 5th in there. So probably the steal we have with this draft is this running back, 70 overall. He is going to be our backup running back, and he is going to play as our power back. And he did end up with star dev, which is great. We kind of needed that right now. This tight end that we drafted, he is going to be our 2nd tight end. I think right out the bat. This cornerback, I was like, I think we need another corner just in case. And this guy did turn out to be a 67. He was a pretty big gamble. He had the athletic ability, but all of his things were like, he could be anywhere from B to D on all of the stats, basically. So it looks like for the most part they were more net positive. This Nick Sharpton guy, I wasn't too keen when I took him, and I kind of wish I didn't because he just does not look like he's going to be the player for us. He was 79 overall. I think he's probably going to drop to a 78 or a 77. But he is going to be... So he only dropped to 78. I'm glad about that. Hopefully he has a really good dev trait. This corner that we drafted in that 2nd round, he looks great. He's also hidden development. That is great for us. When we go to the development stuff, I think I am going to put this halfback in as our 3rd guy unless we have a 4th slot that I don't know about already for our focus scouting. However, we are going to go to the NFL. Look at this, 80 overall, and okay, I don't know how that's possible. I've never seen that happen with that good of a combine look where he's... Oh my goodness. Yeah, I really thought he was going to be an X factor, but it looks like he's just going to be a solid guy starting out. So I think we made a great choice. Let's look to see if there were any other really high overall. No, we had this. We probably did have the best guy in the draft, unless he has just like a star and somebody else in here has X factor. I am glad about that. I do find it interesting that this halfback was a guy that I almost took, and then I didn't. And I bet he's hidden development. I do wish I had taken him in that 3rd round pick instead of that tight end right now. I know that we probably have a decent guy that we have in there, but yeah, it just wasn't it. Mitchell Jenkins, 1st round pick quarterback. I was like, he better have star dev at least. Otherwise they got burned. And so this guy's probably gonna win Rookie of the Year. And we're actually gonna have to face off against that guy. Hopefully he's not like X Factor or something. Then the Dolphins, oh yeah, because they did lose Tua. They lost Tua probably in that offseason. He's not star dev, but starting out he's pretty good. The guy I really want to see is this Chad Sheets. The Eagles traded up for. Only a star, that's good. If he had more than star, I would have been. I do want to. I'm just so curious. I need to check out this Lions quarterback that they just drafted. Because if he's got more than, if he has X Factor, I'm gonna. Okay, yeah. So he might eventually develop pretty well, but he's not gonna be like a game changer against us right away. Yeah, so like this is kind of our draft recap here. I think this guy might not even make the team. Everybody else is surefire on the team going into the season. Yeah, so I'm gonna meet you all back when I get to the point of the basically week 1 of the season, and we'll kind of see how it goes. So we're doing our recap of kind of what our lineup is kind of going to look like. I don't know where this guy came from. I don't know why he's showing as he's star dev on the screen here. It probably is just that it has his full picture for some reason. But yeah, as you can see, our offense needs a lot more dev traits. We have Noah Fant, our quarterback, and then our new running back that hopefully has a really good dev trait, because I'd love to be able to just kind of have him take over and us not have to re-sign Antonio Gibson soon. Our defense looks a little bit more colorful. I do want to try to find a way to get Hooker involved more in this. I'm not sure the best way to go about that. He is set up as the second slot corner behind Kroger here. I am slightly tempted to just move him up above CJ Henderson. I think I'm going to do that at some point in this in the season, but to start off, we're not going to. We are going to have Chase on start over Zach Bond, but Zach Bond is actually the third middle linebacker, and he's also the third sub linebacker in this defense. Our special teams doesn't look all that fantastic. I think just to get him a little bit more involved, I'm going to move him up to being the kick returner because he's got a little bit more speed than Brown does. But yeah, for one thing that I'm going to shift around is I am going to shift around the rush right end and left end just because it's a little messy right now. Chason should be the rush left with Vaughn backing him up. But yeah, I'm gonna meet you guys at the end of the season. Hopefully we do well. And this one season might be the only one that I'm doing for part 2 here. I might be doing the draft of next season as well at the end of this. I'll let you guys know when we get to that point. Yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit. So we ended up going 5-12, a little bit better than last year. I would have expected us to do a little bit better than we did, just because we were quite a bit higher in overall, but it didn't seem to happen. We did end up going 3-3 in our division NFC North matchups, so that's a decent sign of things to come. It's impressive because the Packers only lost 3 games and we were one of them. But yeah, we're looking at the Pro Bowl here. I don't think we probably had anybody, but it's worth a shot at looking. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have anybody on here really. Unfortunately, none of our players are really that high of an overall to be making these lists at the moment. The only one that would be our middle linebacker, and he did not make it. However, Craver, our rookie cornerback, that we drafted in that second round, did end up being a superstar player. So he's going to be hopefully a star for us in a couple of years here. But for right now, we didn't really have much in terms of any other positions. It's probably just because he had a lot of tackles because he was playing in that slot corner position. I always don't know if it's good for corners to actually have tackles because that means they're letting up the catches. But sometimes in that instance, they're also tackling at the slot and other things like that. We're going to go into the next week. It looks like the Falcons made it to the Super Bowl. I think we need our halfback that we did draft. He was playing okay. He I don't think we had him get enough snaps to actually figure out what his dev trait was, but he is now up to a scheme fit at least. They're saying our top need is halfback, because I'm not planning to re-sign our current halfback that we had. I know I have a lot of sentimental attachment to that player in the game from previous years, but yeah, so they actually came in as the 3 seed, and the Ravens came in as the 2 seed. I think the Ravens playbook carries them to a win here, but let's just look at these yearly awards. Dak Prescott won the MVP. We had our playbook on the Cowboys playbook just because I was like, oh, it might bring us to that point. It was doing that a little bit last year, or in the last season of the rebuild, and it just did not this time. But I think it is probably the right playbook to move forward with at the moment, because he didn't do terrible. It's just we don't have much for him to go off of. Defensive player of the year, I don't think we have anybody that's really in that conversation. Offensive rookie of the year is probably their quarterback. I bet that's a quarterback that they drafted, and I just didn't pay enough attention. Brandon Bradfield, that quarterback for the Lions, ended up at 5. That's a lot lower than I thought he was going to. Dalvin McLean did put up a lot of touchdowns for us. Because he was in that power back role, they put him on the goal line quite a bit. I remember, I think 9 weeks in, he had 7 touchdowns, which is pretty impressive for a rookie. A little surprised he wasn't higher, but he also didn't really have the yards or the snaps to account for it. Jerome Gordon, our second overall pick, and Aaron Craver, who we drafted in that second round, both made it into the second and third spot for Defensive Rookie of the Year. We did not win either of those awards. Owen Sims this year is in the 9 slot for best quarterback for the NFC. That's a good spot, at least for right now. Hopefully that's going to improve quickly coming up here. I'm going to try and get a really good wide receiver in this offseason, whether it be through the draft or it be through the other process. Elijah Mitchell, who we almost tried to pick up down there at the 9 slot. We might actually sign another running back, even if it's just for 1 year, to help keep that guy developing that we drafted. Or we just kind of say, if there's somebody that's really good and they're still fairly young, we just go for it. Richie James was the guy that we had in our best wide receiver slot. He's gone after this year, so good for him. Yeah, we're not bringing him back. He's going to be 30 going into next season, and he's probably going to regress because there's no way that he got star dev even if he was that high on the best wide receivers list. Yeah, we didn't have a ton of overall improvements from the off season. I think we went up 2 overall throughout the whole year, and that was probably going to drop. Trey Wolf, who we're not going to bring back because he's like 66 or 67 overall as a kicker, did pretty well, I guess, but just not enough for us to kind of try to re-sign him again, because you could probably draft 3 kickers in this next class that are going to be better than he was overall wise. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of give you a recap at the end of free agency this year, for this next season, and then we're going to do the draft, and then I'm going to kind of have that be the end of the video for tonight. So I will meet you guys at the end of free agency. All right, welcome back. Just as promised, we're doing a little bit of a recap here. There was only really like 3 really good wide receivers in this that were like free agents. There was the one that I really wanted was George Pickens. Unfortunately, everybody wanted George Pickens, and I didn't really want to overpay for him, just because it was already like $18 million a year contract that I was offering him as the neutral contract. So we did get Jamison Williams. He's going to be our wide receiver too. He'll probably be good. We'll kind of have to see what happens. And then we signed Zach Tom. Just our offensive line, I think, maybe needed a little bit more help just in the game to help our quarterback. We signed David Montgomery for 1 year because that running back we had, even though he had all those touchdowns, he lost his depth trait. We did some retooling of our defensive linemen. So Grover Stewart's in there now, and then we also signed Bilal Nichols, who unfortunately does drop quite a bit from defensive tackle to left end, but I feel like for our scheme, he's going to fit a little bit better there. And then Cameron Thomas, he's going to be our backup right outside linebacker, basically, and he might switch a little bit to the left outside linebacker a little bit. We'll kind of have to see what happens. Then we did sign a kicker and a punter that should be a little bit better than last year. So there wasn't a ton of big splash plays that we put in this free agent period. However, we're just going to look at this mock draft here a little bit. So we have the third pick right now. It has us taking a tackle. That is something we're not going to do. I am a little curious about this Miles Butler guy, though. He looks pretty decent, but I don't know if he's actually good enough that he would have been anything better than a star. He is 5'11", so sometimes the game doesn't always like those guys that are a little bit shorter. But yeah, he didn't really have anything like stood out hardcore, but he probably will go number 1. And then I was kind of hoping that we might be able to get an edge rusher, this like speed rusher guy. I don't think that's probably going to happen unless we go with this Dwayne Pounds or something like that, who actually is slower than that defensive end. So I'm gonna show you guys probably the first round and then the second round pick, and I don't think there's going to be a ton more that's going to be super interesting with this, because we are getting to the point where not everybody's going to really be starting right away type of thing, just because we are at the point where our team is already up to a 82 overall before we even draft any of these players to fill any potential needs. It's more going to be more of a, what do we want to have as depth, or who do we want to have as a guy to build on with the future. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're going to be going on here. I am a little bit hoping that one defensive end that's projected to go number 2 does slide to us and that Detroit doesn't take them. But that's probably what's going to happen here, just because that's almost always what it seems is going to happen with, yep, so that happened. We're going to look a little bit to see if there's anybody that really, really stands out. Both these quarterbacks look pretty good, but we don't need a quarterback, and we don't really need a right tackle that bad. We could draft this linebacker, Denzel Rice. However, we did sign somebody, I believe, in free agency. So I wouldn't say that's necessarily the biggest need for us at the moment. There is this speed rusher out of Iowa. However, he's kind of slow. I don't really think I want to move him back to the offensive or outside linebacker position, just because I don't think that's going to help him too much. There's this right outside linebacker. I think that's the guy that's projected to go number 4. And then there's this one. Is he a little bit? He's not any. He's actually slower. Yeah, that's the problem that sometimes happens with this type of thing, where they're like, I really wish that they would switch to a method of having it be where basically it's you have your edge players, then you have your defensive linemen, and instead of having the right, it just makes everything a little bit of a mess. Especially when like teams sign guys in free agency that they probably shouldn't. I know I went through and I was like, I'm gonna set it up that I don't take a cornerback. However, this guy looks really good. I'm not gonna take him at 3 though. I'm gonna see if anybody really wants to trade down, and I think that's probably our best bet at the moment. Just because, yeah, there's just not a ton for us to try to take at the moment. Nobody really wants to go into this pick, which is a little concerning because we still want to be in the first round. Could trade all the way down to 31, could trade down to 29, or we go to 23 and then they give us their first for next year. I think that's probably our best bet. We're bound to find somebody that's a little bit better suited for us at that point. I just want to see what they take. They take that offensive tackle. So that offensive tackle must have been really good. Otherwise, the system wouldn't have really wanted it. But yeah, we're just going to see what we have at 23. Pick 23 should be enough that we can maybe get somebody that corner is still here. I think I gotta take it. He just looked too good. I know he would be our 4th corner probably, unless I really want to have the guy that I just did a lot of hoops and getting rid of guys to get in as our 3rd. But if he's really gonna play to the caliber that it looks like he might, it should be worth it. I guess I didn't really look. We could have drafted a wide receiver, but there weren't really a ton that I saw like popping out at me. I do kind of want to draft a wide receiver with this pick here, but I don't know. Nobody's fast in this one. Yeah, I'm a little torn on what to do here. Here's a playmaker, but unless he's got really good speed, yeah, he's got great speed. But I think just when you look at his stuff, it just doesn't look like he's going to be that guy. This guy has elite jumping, great strength, and then this one is, yeah. I think let's try for this wide receiver. I know he has low catching, which is a little concerning, but it looks like he's probably the faster of the two. Man, that is such a tough decision. Unless this guy down here is fast too. I'm gonna hope this guy is here in the 3rd. Because usually they don't actually draft wide receivers where they say they're going to. Never mind. We are drafting this guy. Elite speed for a playmaker is usually always great. And there he is with that hidden development. Hopefully he's going to be good enough to play right away, and then we're not going to have to kind of push him back a little bit. I might still draft that other wide receiver just to get depth in here. I know we had... I don't think he's there anymore. It's the only thing, because I don't think it was this guy, was it? Yeah, no. So, yeah, I'll meet up with you guys at the end of the draft here and do a little draft recap, and then that's going to be kind of just the end of our video here today. Thank you guys. So we have made it to the end of that draft, getting close to the end of the episode. Those two picks that you guys saw on camera, those were both pretty good picks. That wide receiver is a 74 overall hidden, and then that man cornerback that I could not pass up on was a 77 overall. And if he wasn't hidden, I would probably be biting myself a little bit about that pick. The rest of the draft didn't go great. This 5th round middle linebacker, he was actually an outside linebacker. I just already switched up some positions for all the guys to make them actually what they're going to be playing already. This guy was a right end, and he looked a lot better than what he actually was. I think I just got too focused and pinned on the speed, and I should not have drafted this guy at all in the 3rd. But you live and you learn. This middle linebacker might end up playing at some point, just because he was 70 overall. Now he's nice. And then this other middle linebacker was also an outside linebacker that I drafted. I was hoping he was going to be a little bit better, because he seemed like he might have some of the things to be a little bit better than most of those pass coverage guys are, but he just did not have what I was looking for. But yeah, I probably won't be streaming the next episode tomorrow night, just because I have to work, and I probably will be working at that point. But on probably the night of the 13th going into the 14th, I will definitely be streaming again. Probably going through this process starting around 10 o'clock Central Time. So yeah, if you're interested in checking out, that's probably when we'll be on here next. Alright, thank you guys. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace out.